We spend billions, literally billions of dollars on biohacking, on supplements, on fancy retreats, all of us chasing the same thing, just a little mental clarity. And yet somehow, we're more overwhelmed and burnt out than ever. It feels like the more we chase focus, the faster it runs away, right? But what if the answer, the actual blueprint for a clear mind, wasn't in some futuristic tech lab, but was hidden in the wisdom of the past? Let's dig into that.
Does this sound familiar to you? Your mind feels like a web browser with 100 tabs open at once. You've got access to all the information in the world, but you're just starving for a little bit of actual wisdom. So you keep looking for that next productivity hack, that next brain booster, just hoping something will finally cut through the fog. But the thing is, we're trying to put a Band-Aid on a much deeper problem.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The whole modern wellness industry, it promises us peak performance, right? It promises clarity if you just buy their thing. But for most of us, the reality is just more confusion, more burnout. We buy the brain boosters, but we just feel more drained. We go on the expensive retreat, but we come right back home to the exact same chaos. It's a cycle, and it's not really designed for our sanity.
Okay, so let's hit pause. Let's pivot away from the modern marketplace and look at a really unexpected source of wisdom. The core idea we're going to unpack here is that your brain isn't just some computer you need to optimize. Think of it more like a fortress, a citadel, that has to be protected and maintained by some really specific, timeless laws.
And get this, the blueprint for this fortress, it was laid out way back in 1863. A writer named Ellen White started putting down these health principles that were honestly completely revolutionary for her time. And the craziest part? Modern science is only now really starting to catch up, providing all the hard data that proves these century-old ideas were right all along.
This quote from her, "This is the foundation for everything else we're about to talk about." Just forget biohacking for a second and really think about this metaphor. If your brain is the command center, the citadel, then your physical health is what cleans the windows. If you neglect your body, the windows get dirty, your mind gets foggy, and you start making bad decisions. It's a straight line. It's that simple.
So she called these principles the True Remedies. There are 8 of them. And let me be clear, these are not quick fixes or some kind of magic pill. They're simple, they're powerful, and they are all deeply connected. They are the laws for building and defending that mental fortress we're talking about.
All right, number 1. It's something we do more than 20,000 times a day, usually without even thinking about it. Breathing. But this isn't just about the act of breathing. It's about the actual quality of the fuel you're giving your brain.
So her insight was that fresh air literally strengthens your thoughts. And today, science shows us exactly why that's true. You know that stuffy feeling you get indoors? Well, that's rising CO2 levels, and it literally lowers your cognitive function. Stepping outside for fresh air is like making a direct deposit into your brain's energy account. It boosts oxygen and just clears out the mental cobwebs. Okay, so staying with our environment, that brings us to number 2, sunlight. We all kind of instinctively know it feels good, right? But its job is way more important than just lifting our mood. It's basically the master switch for our body's internal clock. She called it nature's invigorating agent. And what science now tells us is that getting some sunlight first thing in the morning is one of the best things you can do for your focus all day long. It kicks off cortisol to wake you up properly, and it actually sets a timer for your brain to produce melatonin later that night so you can get deep, restorative sleep. So those first 2 laws are about bringing good things in. Our third law, though, is about managing what's already inside us. And this one might be the toughest for our modern world. It's called temperance, and it's not just about avoiding bad stuff. It's about wisely moderating everything, even the good stuff. Her insight was that doing too much of anything, even overworking, slaves the will. Just think about that phrase. In our world of endless scrolling and binge watching, our willpower is getting hammered all day long. So, learning to master those cravings for the next hit of digital dopamine, that's not about restricting yourself, it's about liberating yourself. It frees up all that wasted mental energy for things that actually matter. And that idea of not overdoing it leads us right into our 4th principle, rest. I know, our hustle culture treats sleep like it's a weakness, a waste of time, but this blueprint sees it totally differently. Rest isn't just doing nothing. It's an active, essential process of putting your mind and body back together. She actually called sleep a sacred duty, and modern neurology, it completely agrees. When you're in deep sleep, your brain has this incredible cleaning system that literally flushes out all the metabolic junk that builds up during the day. If you don't get that cleaning, your brain gets inflamed. Hello, brain fog. And this idea also included a full weekly day of rest, a total mental reset button. So, from that crucial process of restoration, we move to the equally crucial process of activation, with law number 5, exercise. But I want you to completely forget how we usually think about it, for losing weight or looking good. In this system, movement is a primary tool for sharpening your mind and breaking through mental blocks.
I mean, how brilliant is this phrase? Stagnant thoughts are the result of stagnant blood. It's so direct. When you feel mentally stuck, it's often because you are physically stuck. Moving your body pumps nutrient-rich blood right to your frontal lobe. That's the CEO of your brain, the part that handles judgment, planning, and decision-making.
Of course, if your body is moving, it needs the right fuel. And that brings us to law number 6, proper diet. And this is an area where these writings were just unbelievably ahead of their time. The idea that what you eat has a direct and immediate impact on how you think, that was not a popular idea in the 1860s.
Get this. What's on your plate today becomes your thoughts tomorrow. Such a powerful connection. Today, of course, we call it the gut-brain axis. We now know our gut is basically our second brain, producing a huge amount of our mood-regulating chemicals. So yeah, a junk food diet doesn't just hurt your body, it directly clouds your judgment.
And what's the most basic, fundamental part of any diet? Well, number 7 is so simple we almost always forget it, the proper use of water. Seriously, in a world of energy drinks and fancy coffees, we've neglected the most powerful and clarifying drink of all.
She called water the great purifier, and the modern science is it's stark. Your brain is about 75% water. That's not a fun fact, it's critical. Even being just slightly dehydrated immediately tanks your short-term memory and focus. It's simple, you just can't have clear thoughts in a dehydrated brain.
Okay, and that brings us to the 8th and final law. Now this one's a little different. It's not just another habit to add to the list, this is the keystone. It's the piece that holds the whole structure together and unleashes the real power of the other 7. The final law is trust in a higher power. Now, whatever your personal beliefs are, just consider the psychological principle here for a second. What are the biggest enemies of mental clarity? It's not complicated problems. It's stress, guilt, and anxiety. This principle is about the active surrender of those burdens, about letting go of what you can't control.
And this is the process it lays out. First, you actively surrender that constant, low-level anxiety. When you do that, fear starts to lose its grip on your thoughts. And in the empty space that fear leaves behind, mental clarity can finally step in and take charge. It's all about clearing out the internal noise so you can actually think.
So what we've just walked through, it's a complete system. And what's really amazing is what it doesn't require. There's no app to download, nothing to buy, no monthly subscription. Now, do they require discipline? Yeah, for sure. But what they promise in return is real freedom. Freedom from that constant mental fog that so many of us are stuck in.
Look, the power of this whole blueprint isn't in knowing all 8 laws. It's in acting on one of them. The clarity that you're looking for, it's not out there in some expensive product. It's already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked by one simple intentional habit. So the only question left is, where are you going to start?